Okay, so the issue starts out, and we sort of see all the new heroes that have joined the champions in action, which I thought was really cool. I'm really, really excited to see them in the future. But most importantly, we get full confirmation that Kamala is in fact now the full leader of champions. Which I really liked because, for me anyways, in the old series 2016, it always kind of seemed like she was taking that role anyway, like she was already the leader without anyone fully saying it. So it's nice to just kind of be like, okay, she's officially the leader. Another thing we see at the beginning of the issue is Sam piloting the champion's mobile base, which I really liked personally because ever since he got his powers taken away, it seemed like he's always been really sad, which is completely understandable, and all I want is for him to be happy and having a nice time. So it's really nice to see that he's still with the champions and he's still working hard and he's still supporting the team as a good member. I was also very happy in this issue to see that Fernanda is back. If you don't know, she first appeared in the first Champion series in 2016 as the Red Locust. And now she's back as just the Locust, which I wonder if we'll get an explanation as to the name change, but we probably won't. Moving on to the middle of the issue, we see these three groups kind of tackling their own problems, but the main one I'm going to be talking about is the original Champions group, mission, I guess. I'll just say mission. Because at first we get this really cool kind of cheery moment where they jump out of the Champions mobile bunker, and Kamala's yelling like "Champions charge" and stuff, and it's really cool. I was like, yes, I love these kids, I would die for them. And then all of a sudden it sort of cuts to this almost like devastating red page where you see Kamala, Viv, Amadeus, and Miles, and they seem very, very distraught. It seems like there's kind of destruction all around them. So all in all, not a good sign. I was a little bit confused as to what happened, but later, once we get to the end of the issue, I'll explain sort of my favorite analysis of what happened. So moving on to after that, all the teams return to the Champions mobile base. They've all been successful in their endeavors, I guess you could say. Still don't know what to do with my hands. And Miles, he sort of storms off and leaves to his room. Sam tries to follow after him, and Miles is just not having it, which I was really sad at this moment, because I feel like Sam really is just trying to do all that he can do, even just, you know, supporting one of his best friends. And whatever happens with Miles, which we'll get into later again, you know, you can definitely tell that he's just trying to connect with Miles and he's trying to help, and Miles is just kind of pushing him off. And then Amadeus too is also like, just leave it alone. So I think Sam is definitely like, fellas, I'm just trying to help. And then moving on, Kamala starts to give a speech about, you know, succeeding and all this like cool, cheesy, but also beautiful stuff. Love you. But then we get this really important, or at least important to me, moment between RiRi and Viv. Now, if you recall, they kissed in Champions number 27 of the last series, which it was very much Viv initiated, and you could tell that RiRi was very taken aback and surprised by it. I even have the God-given panel right here. Yes, I took this out of its protective cover just so I could show you that moment. Anyway, I was very happy that they got to interact and that they talked about the kiss as opposed to acting like it didn't happen. However, the moment was a little bittersweet for me. You get RiRi actually telling Viv, like, you need to ask before you kiss someone, and it was like, she was really surprised and whatnot. And then Viv, she's kind of cute, she asks, can I kiss you again? And RiRi was like, So I say this moment's bittersweet definitely because I think it's a really awkward moment and kind of a sad moment between the two, because you see Viv kind of almost flirting a bit, and and really trying to make RiRi comfortable and say like, hey, I do kind of like you, and RiRi is still a little bit like, hang on a second, I need to figure this out. But I don't think the moment was super negative. I don't think RiRi seemed angry at Viv or very much like, oh, no way would I ever want to be with you. She's just kind of, as I said, a little bit overwhelmed, and so she's trying to figure stuff out before she really goes forward. That's why I'm not really too sure that Vivheart is not going to happen. I feel like if it does happen, though, it'll be like a while. I feel like it'll either be really angsty or it'll be a slow burn. Just in general, that it's going to be at least a few months, a few issues before we ever really see like big progression in this. Okay, so after Kamala's speech and after the Vivheart moment, Kamala goes to visit Miles and see what's up. Now, he actually, lets her talk to him. By the way, I'm scrolling on my computer just so I don't forget anything. So if you see me looking down this way, that's why. Okay, so Kamala goes to visit Miles, and he's like, leave me alone, and she just kind of, like Sam, she keeps kind of being like, let me help, I want to, like, what happened, and then Miles flips out. He, like, you actually see the capitals. He screams, no, like, you need to leave. And that moment was even sadder to me than the Sam moment, because Kamala and Miles, especially in the trio, have been really good friends for a long time, and seeing Miles just like push both of them away, especially pushing Kamala away in such like a dramatic fashion, was really like, please, sir, please, Mr. Jim's Up, can you please give these kids a break? Can they please just be happy for like all of eternity? Anyway, after he sort of pushes Kamala away, we finally get to the end of the issue, which is a lot. So we see Miles, he's alone in his room, and then Kamala, who is still narrating, she's been the narrator for this whole issue actually, it says this interesting quote. It says, you always need to be paying attention because the devil's in the details. And then, what do you know? Mephisto shows up. Or at least, the devil? I don't know, he's kind of like a devil knockoff. But he shows up is the big deal here. Now, I was surprised. I was surprised when he showed up. Because at the end of Champions 27, you see Sparky, Viv's dog, and he gets possessed by Ultron. So I was under the assumption that the first storyline in this new series would be a continuation of that, and we would see some Ultron drama or something, but it must be for a future storyline. But, so I was a little surprised when the devil showed up. And he says, you look like angry to Miles. He's talking to Miles. And he says, isn't this everything you wanted? Or, no, isn't this everything you hoped for? Now, we go back to the moment earlier with this dramatic red splash page. And I was very confused when that moment first happened. I didn't quite get, like, how it fit into the issue or what happened or, like, who did what. But I sort of got it later on when I was scrolling through Twitter trying to figure out what happened and see other people's reactions to the issue. And my favorite analysis of the moment has to come from Hulknaps, at Hulknaps on Twitter. So the analysis, I'm not going to read it word for word, I'm just going to kind of paraphrase it. But the analysis basically says, Miles definitely made a deal with the devil, or Mephisto, to fix whatever disaster happened. So that panel must have been a disaster that happened. For example, the champions were losing, is what the analysis says, and that's probably 100% what was happening. And so Mephisto probably came in that moment, and that's when Miles made a deal with him to have them succeed. And that's why you get, why isn't this everything you hoped for? Moving on. So the analysis continues with Kamala has no idea what happened. Viv is also preoccupied with RiRi, but Miles is visibly distressed. And so is Amadeus, who leaves, after telling Sam. And so the analysis says they think that they both remember. Either that or Amadeus realized Miles was stressed and just kind of wanted him to, have his break. And I think this analysis is correct in that might have been the moment Miles struck a deal, but I think it's interesting because one of the theories I have is what if they weren't really losing in the first place? What if they were going to succeed? But Mephisto came in and made them lose, so that way it was easier for him to strike a deal with one of the champions. I think that would be really interesting. Anyway, moving on to more of the analysis, the solicits for the next issue say a secret will break them, and the secret is based on the choices of one champion. So I think that we'll really see the champions sort of realize what Miles has done, or Mephisto might attack them or something, and then the champions kind of fight over that, maybe? Either way, I don't want them to fight. I really would, die for them. I really love these kids, and the last thing I want to do is see them fight, but it is what it is. Anyway, I thought that analysis was just really interesting, and I definitely used it to get what happened, and so it really helped me drop a follow. Overall, I really, really liked this issue. Not only was it very good in my opinion, but the ending was really surprising to me, which I wasn't expecting, and I think that this series has a lot more to offer, a lot more surprises, a lot more good moments, more of the beautiful art that we had this issue. So, as someone who has been reading Champions since they first started in 2016, I couldn't be more excited to continue on with this series, and hopefully I'll be doing one of these videos every month. Hopefully. In the meantime, that should be the end of this video, so bye! Pew pew pew!